The leading international jewellery maker Pandora has announced it will no longer sell mined diamonds. The Danish firm is switching exclusively to gems made in laboratories. It says it's both to reduce environmental damage from mining and to avoid funding conflict through what are known as blood diamonds. Lab-grown gems only cost about a third of those diamonds that are extracted from the ground. Paul Zimnisky is a diamond industry analyst and consultant.
Yeah, so I would say man-made diamonds have been widely available to consumers for a few years now, and that's the result of advancements in technology to produce them. But we've been able to produce diamonds synthetically for 60 or 70 years now. It's just been more recently that we can produce larger, higher quality diamond at a low enough price that consumers will buy it. And as you alluded to, right now you can buy a man-made diamond for, as much as 75% less than an equivalent natural diamond. And I think that differential will probably get even wider.
Right. So they've been around for a while, but up to now they've been principally used for industrial purposes. Is that right?
Correct. I'd say about 5 years ago, we started to see them more widely available as jewelry. But yes, up until that point, they were almost exclusively produced for abrasive industrial application. And we get, I would say, 99% of our industrial diamonds come from synthetic diamonds.
And presumably that's just a bigger part of it as well. I mean, the jewelry side of it's what we know about. But in terms of the global market, I guess the industrialized side of it is much greater.
Yeah, it's actually, I think if you look at the volume of diamonds produced for industrial application, it's like 12 billion. But if you look at, diamonds mined for jewelry, it's maybe, 30 to 140 million carats. So the volume produced for industrial application is much higher, but the value is much lower.
I mean, clearly part of the reason that people get diamonds for jewelry is because of the cachet, because they're deemed to be special. It's a real bother to get hold of them. And so, the price is part of the reason why people are prepared to pay the price. Do you think that can hold for jewelry?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think we're talking about Pandora today, and I would call, Pandora a fashion jewelry brand. It tends to be a lower price point jewelry compared to what I would say, call fine jewelry, which is more expensive and typically more formal. The fine jewelers would be the Tiffany's and the Cartiers of the world. And, their customers want natural gemstones. And I think, man-made diamonds are an obvious fit for a fashion jewelry company like Pandora or someone like a Swarovski, which we know for their crystals. They actually have their own, man-made diamond line. But most of the high-end jewelers have indicated that they, do not intend to sell man-made diamonds, which I think, makes sense.
And just in terms of the reason Pandora is saying is turning this way is because of the environmental damage through mining and also because of the issue of blood diamonds. Is there a potential downside in terms of just how energy intensive it is to produce these synthetic diamonds? Yeah,
so I think this is a good question, but I think it's nuanced, and I think it's really important to acknowledge that it varies producer to producer. Requires a lot of energy to synthetically produce diamond. As you can imagine, you have to transform carbon into a diamond. In some cases, it means pressing it really, really hard or heating it to a very high temperature. But, man-made diamonds are produced all over the world. In some cases, they're using grid power that could be coal or oil powered. And in those cases, there's going to be, an obvious carbon footprint. But if the producer is using renewable energy like hydropower, it's going to be a different story. And, I would say the same can be said with mining companies. Some are going above and beyond to try to reduce the environmental footprint as much as possible and provide social impact, and some are not.
The diamond industry analyst Paul Zimnisky talking to us here on NewsHour.